Welcome to About the Valley, and my guests tonight are Miguel and Christine, and how do you say your last name?
Guanipa.
Juanita.
Guanipa.
Guanipa.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that people pronounce their names because the way someone pronounces their own name is the way you pronounce it, not the way you read it. Because everybody, sometimes it doesn't sound the same as what it reads.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay? And of course, in Spanish, it's always pronounced a little different.
yeah. I had different people call me different ways.
I know, I go through it too. But, hi, we're hiding Christine here.
I can move these.
Okay, they're the proprietors of Little Man, which is a shop on Church Street in Whitensville. And you just came through the shop small weekend, which you had pretty good. But one thing that's unique about them is their goods are not just sold on Church Street in Whitensville. They're actually sold in the White House gift shop, which is quite an honor to be accepted by the White House gift shop like that. And we're already getting a phone call. But I wanted to open up with, how did you end up getting into the White House?
You know what? I kind of asked that question myself, but we've been selling in the wholesale and in the retail market
On the internet?
Yep, for several years, and I do have a site on Etsy, and so one day I came home, and on our message machine there was a recording from someone from the White House. I kind of thought it was a joke, but he said that he was looking for products. He'd seen our products through Etsy, and they were looking for something that was made in America, and they were specifically looking for wristlets, and they liked our product and asked if we would work with them. And so it wasn't a joke, and it was awesome. So that kind of started the process of designing a fabric that had the Senate seal on it, and then we worked back and forth with those in the Senate gift shop, and then came up with a wristlet. And then from there, they also saw other products that we have, and I actually brought them. These ones, they liked our bibs that we.
Yes.
So they.
That was the one during the Obama administration.
Well, honestly, it's through. We continue to sell.
We have both. We have
Oh, you have
so we
both.
have both.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're bipartisan in this shop.
So this is the donkeys, and it comes with a burp cloth. It's a whole set in gift, but this one, the donkeys, and then we have the elephants with the red on the reverse side. So this was really special. This one and the wristlets. The fabric is designed by our oldest daughter, who is also a Mass College of Art grad. That's where my husband and I went to school, and she does some amazing stuff, so I called her, and she designed the fabric, and that's where it went.
So the key to your business is your fabrics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you have a designer that makes these fabrics for you then?
Some of them.
Well,
So,
designs them. Of course, you're going to find the textile mill to produce it.
yes. So some of the fabrics I just curate to have a collection. I was a printmaking major in our school, so I love really fun and happy and graphic prints. I love things that are full of color, and so I try to curate a collection of fabrics that are already in print. But with our daughter doing the design work that she does, we've been working with her, and I actually hire her to make some fabric. So I brought just some samples of what we've been doing recently, which is kind of made in New England, local for gift shops. So this fabric is a Rhode Island print. And so these are, great for gifts from, actually I'm so surprised at where we get orders from people who now live all across the states, but they see this and they're like, oh, we always considered Rhode Island to be our home. And so there's Rhode Island, and then this one's probably been our most popular, is the Maine print. We've sell a ton of these in stores and then also locally as well. And then we have one more, which is Cape Cod, but I didn't have any made, so I didn't bring any of those. But those are just a couple of the things, but I did bring actually local because my daughter also designed this fabric, which is for Northbridge
Oh,
Rams.
Northbridge Ram
Yeah.
purse.
So there's the back.
You should sell that in the Ram store.
Yeah, yeah. But you can get it at my studio. So
Right. Now, do you have gift shops? You know, like we go down to Newport, they got a great gift shop down there. Do they order this stuff for like the Rhode Island?
yes, so mostly how we market our work is through going to trade shows. So we go to one in Saratoga Springs, New York, which kind of focuses on businesses that are Lake George and the Hudson
Yes.
River Valley. And then we go to another one that's in Portland, up in Maine. That's in March. And then we do one more that's in Falmouth on the Cape. And so that's where we come up with a whole collection. And that's where the boutiques and the shops and the galleries come and see our newest collection for their shops.
People like to buy stuff from where they visit.
Yeah.
We've been out to Lake George a number of times. We like it out there. Beautiful area. So my wife might have bought something that you make out there, for all I know. Yeah, because people do like, you know, so I went to Lake George or I went to Cape Cod and they pick up an item that says so. Now, you two went to the Mass School of Art? Is that the name of it?
Mass College of Art, yeah.
Where's it located?
It's in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Right on Huntington Ave, right next to the
Oh.
Museum of Fine Arts.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, good location.
Yeah.
Yeah, Huntington Ave. So you're over there in the Beacon, not Beacon, but the Back Bay.
Is it called the Back Bay?
It's close.
It's close
by
to
the
the
back
Back
Bay.
Bay.
It's more,
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
what do you call it? Symphony Hall is in that area.
yeah,
Yeah,
symphony, yeah.
Beautiful part of the city.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Yes, and very expensive to live.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
You're right. So that's what I was going to get to. And you two met there. So, and you end up getting married, and now you got to find a place to live. Did you end up here right away, or?
No, we first settled from living in Jamaica Plain when we were students to
Oh, okay. A
we-
little more affordable
Dorchester.
than Huntington Ave.
and then we moved to Belmont and Waltham and
Oh, see, you're slowly moving west.
yeah, yeah. And sweet, we had very sweet apartments we were renting, and but we were just at that place where our landlord passed away, and so it was time for us to either pay a lot for a rental, and we had 3 girls at the time, or try to find something. And so Miguel was working in Wellesley at the time, and we kind of did like a 30-mile radius, and
Oh.
Northbridge just kind of hit the cusp of
Yep.
that, and we saw some homes, and
So now
you learn a lot about
you
a
went
lot
from
of
renting
places.
to owning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was good, and that's how we learned about different towns all around. And
And then when you got here, you decided to open up a business, or I was wondering how did you get into the?
well, I was teaching art in 2nd grade when I was in the Arlington area, and it was just one of those times where I had taken a class in Boston that helped women artists become entrepreneurs. And at the time, I was always making, actually this is the bag I was making because I was a teacher, and it would fit my plan book and water bottle and all those things I needed to carry. And I just thought, well, this could be a really fun, marketable item.
So you actually made it for yourself first.
I did, yeah.
And it was so handy for yourself. Geez, a lot of people would like this, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much what happened. And during that, after that class, it was one of those transitional times, I guess, that we all have in our lives where I had finished the class and my mom had passed away, and then we were having our 3rd daughter, and then the news of our landlord passing. So all this is happening,
Oh my, yeah.
and we move here, and I thought, well, it would be a great time to jump off and with Miguel's support, just really kind of dig in deep. Because I was dabbling a little bit with Little Man before, but this was like, I'm in. And so then we just started to grow the business as our daughters grew.
Oh, you rented the store, the upstairs from Dennis Latour.
Yep. And they're about 6 years now.
Wow, that's long. 10 months.
You were across the street first.
Yep, we started out first across the street
Yeah.
and
Oh,
had
okay.
a sweet little studio space.
We used to be across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while back for us, I think 2010 or something.
Mm.
So we're probably about the same time you were there. We moved out of our building and down to Providence Road, and then we ended up here. But, you know, you always got to progress.
Right. You have a nice space here.
I like the way you came up with, I asked you when I was talking to you before about the little man, which is Miguel's idea, right?
Well,
You designed the little man.
yeah,
Well, in art school.
when I did the Little Man was a drawing that I in art school I would just
Just doodling.
doodle all kinds of things, and the Little Man was just a really random doodle that that I did. I don't even remember when I did that. And when she started the business, she thought maybe we could use this for the logo.
Yeah.
And so she just picked out.
Well,
the
you know,
drawing.
you got to have a name that's catchy
Yeah.
to make people remember. If you would just say the handbag store, well, people would forget about it. But Little Man kind of sticks with you. And it it builds a curiosity. You'll say, Little Man, what the hell is Little Man?
Some people do ask that.
Yeah, so they come in to see what it's all about.
Who is the little man? They always ask.
Yeah, who is the Little
Yeah.
Man?
They think it's me, but
But, you know, the thing is that you both went to art school, and you're really not well, you are somewhat, Christine, because you're design work, but now, what are you doing, Miguel?
I work in Framingham repairing and restoring leather furniture.
Yeah, so you're not even in what you went to school for, which
No.
happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
First of all, when you first go to college, most people are saying, "Really, I don't even know what I want to do." You know, you had a little closer to a decision because you went to an art college. But most people come out, a lot of them don't even go into the vocation that they even studied for because something else turns up. You know, what wife turns up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you go into. After all, we all have to make a living. You know, I wanted to get into radio, and I ended up being a salesman for a tobacco company. I needed to make a living.
Yeah.
I'm in radio now. I've been retired for 15 years. I finally got into radio. TV I've been on for 30 years, but it doesn't pay anything.
So you finally got to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
that's
that's the thing about retirement. You get to do what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about making any money anymore. So you can do it. You can do it without making a lot of money. But get off of me because you're my guy. But now, you still you had another place that's pretty unique that you were selling your gifts, and that is the JFK Library over in Dorchester, I guess. Yeah, Dorchester. Just in Boston, actually. And what you did is you made a purse similar, what do they call it, the
Houndstooth,
uh,
the fabric.
yeah, shark tooth,
Houndstooth.
houndstooth,
Yeah.
houndstooth. So, and it was exactly the same as the purse that was owned by Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy, or Kennedy Onassis, however. So, and that was spotted by someone?
So how did that happen? I think I've learned a lot through the business that a lot of your business is just about showing up and being present. And so this was one of the times where I was at a trade show, and one of the fabrics for that year happened to be houndstooth. It was a black and white houndstooth fabric. And
So you just thought it was nice?
I liked it, yeah.
Yep.
And so it was just part of our collection. And the buyer for the JFK museum had walked through, and that kind of caught her eye because there was Jackie O had a suit. It was actually a suit that was on display in the museum, and So they thought it would be great if not only did we do bags, we did bib sets, we did accessories, every single item that I make in our collection we did with this houndstooth. So it was just a lot of fun, and it was really beautiful, and they sold it in their museum shop. So it's really, I was really humbled and honored actually to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, so it puts your items are all over the world probably, for all you know.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, people come there not just from the U.S., they come
That's
from all over
true.
the world. Well, same with visiting the White House.
Mm.
I have a little story about that if you want to hear it.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
The speaking of the world, there was a show. Sometimes I do the shows for her, and I was alone in this show in Jamaica Plain.
Yeah,
And so I went in there and I set up for the show, and there's very low attendance at this show. There weren't a lot of people coming in, and so it was there for about 4 hours, and then amongst one of the few customers that showed up, there was this woman that came over, and she came over to look at the product, and she said, "Oh." And again, this is like, there was hardly anybody at this show, but this woman came to Jamaica Plain in Boston, and she said, "I just got back from Alaska, and I have a friend in Alaska that has this bag."
the actual bag.
The actual, one of the bags, yeah, one of the bags that she made.
Yeah,
And I thought, wow, because nobody showed up. This is the middle of
yeah,
Jamaica
yeah,
Plain,
and
and this woman from Alaska is telling me, "Yes, I have a friend who knows."
and she was from
Oh,
Alaska.
so she came from Alaska. She was visiting, and
Yeah.
oh, wow,
What a
small
coincidence
world.
for her to stop in at Jamaica Plain.
And not just that, I mean, it's a small world kind of when you
Yes.
think about it. So
But now you sell a lot of items on the net, so you are getting orders from everywhere.
yeah.
We do, yeah. Mostly, I don't really sell internationally yet. I don't deal with the shipping or anything with that. I have, but
Well, see, that's what people
yeah.
probably don't understand. You're on the net, so you're international, but to ship, you have to go through customs,
right.
and it's quite involved.
It
It's
is.
it's not a simple process. So it's a little bit, it's quite involved, in fact.
Yeah.
There's a lot of paperwork involved and everything else. So you don't want to get into it if you can help it.
Right.
Is that true with Canada and Mexico as well?
I'm not really sure. I think, I mean, we sold to one store in, where was it? In Australia. But by the time we had, figured out with the customs and shipping and everything, I just thought these are going to be really expensive bags by the time they reach
Yeah, but
Australia.
with all the costs you have to go through,
Yeah.
people don't realize it. Just the cost of dealing with the State Department
Yeah,
on shipping overseas.
yeah. So for right now, we just try to ship nationwide.
Yeah,
It's kind of where we settle. And it's good. It's more than enough to keep us busy.
and everything is made right in your location.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, if you go up there, you got sewing machines, and when I was up Saturday, Miguel was ironing. I used to do it myself.
Oh, it's relaxing.
Yes, I help out. I mean, I was in the army. I'd do everything yourself. If I needed something ironed, I ironed it myself. The way I learned in the army. But yeah, it's quite unique. I mean, it's a small place up there, but all this stuff is being produced and going. You get all this fabric. Now, where do you get most of your fabric from? You have a particular mill, or?
Where do I get them from? So I go to, it's another kind of a trade show, and it's where the manufacturers of the fabrics.
So you buy it at trade shows.
So at the trade show, yeah, it's kind of like going to, they're always in a hotel usually, and there is a big ballroom, and there's tables
Yeah.
and tables and tables, and they're like looking at wallpaper books, and you're just flipping through, seeing what fabric speaks to you, and then you need to find out what fabric is shipping immediately, and a lot of fabrics, they have all different ship dates. So if you're trying to put a collection together for March, which is when our trade shows are, I really need to look for fabrics that have already been released. So they're not the newest released fabrics. They have to already have been into production. So a lot of fabrics, when they're new, what the manufacturers will do is they'll wait until they get maybe 5,000 yards of fabric ordered from several different people all across the states at all the different trade shows they go to. And then once they reach that kind of minimum yardage, then they'll go and have it printed. So even if I order it, I may not get that fabric until June or July or August. And so that can be rough then to, you know, put out a collection with that. So I'm just a little bit behind in that way. I'm not the most cutting edge because I can't wait for that.
Right.
That time I need immediate shipment. So that was something definitely to learn and to see, you know, all the different ship days of the.
So the fabric is actually plain, and then it has to go to another place where they print it?
Well, they design it. So they're all fabric companies that have their designers, and they design that. But
I'm
when
saying
they're
that, I know
yeah.
in Webster, we used to have a place called Cranston Print Works.
mm-hmm.
And they took plain cloth and put the prints on it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I'm thinking that's what they do here. It's a plain cloth, and then they had, so it's a two-step procedure where they weave the cloth, but then it's got to be printed,
Right.
and that's another step.
Right.
And that might even be another facility, other than the one that actually weaved it.
Right. Yep.
And I don't know, a lot of textile business has gone overseas,
Mhm.
and for various reasons.
Mhm.
Labor was cheaper. A lot of people didn't want to work in the textile mills. It's very hard work. Running those, I mean, we were the textile kingdom of the world here at one point. The Blackstone Valley,
Waynesville.
Right.
the Industrial
Yeah.
Revolution started here with the textile industry.
Yep.
And, you know, we had textile mills up and down, tons of them, and up until, right here in Rockdale, up until 1953 was a major textile mill. It's a mill down here. And here again, it was tough work. If you worked in the card room, where they card the cloth when it comes in, clean it up, it was very dusty. It was like working, you know, you talk about coal miners getting black lung. The textile workers would get what they call brown lung from breathing in the fibers.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why, you know, it got exported because Americans didn't want to do it, but they found people overseas that were willing to do it. And that's what happens all the time. Now, I guess a lot of textiles come out of India, out of Southeast Asia. So
Yeah.
it probably, you probably don't find too much American textile anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I do get asked that because there are several of the stores that I sell to that it's
They
nice.
want 100% U.S. made?
They want U.S. made, and so I know that the companies are U.S. and I know that they're designed here, but I don't know where they manufacture, and I kind of don't take it that far anyway. I just
Yeah.
stop.
Well, it's hard.
at the,
I mean,
you know.
they can be housed here, the headquarters can be here, but they contract out. A lot of companies do that with China now. You know, and in fact, that was an issue that came up in the negotiations. And if you heard on the news, a lot of items come from China, but it doesn't say made in China because they're made for American companies.
Oh.
And the Trump administration is telling China, look, we want you, requiring you to put on the products made in China so people will know. So, but they say, hey, look, we're making it for American, like Apple. You buy an Apple phone, it doesn't say made in China, but it is. It might be assembled here, but actually it's assembled there, I believe. Yeah, a lot of electronic companies, they open up plants over there. They own the plant, but they're being made over there. So, I mean, but myself, I don't see where we can have plenty of jobs without that, and even importing creates jobs too, because you have to have people handle stuff. You have to have buyers. You have to so I mean, there's other jobs.
See all the problems you're creating in the economic system.
No, but you come right down to it. It's an American-made product because you're making it right here in Whitensville.
Right. And there seems to be, there's an audience for that now, which is
Yes.
wonderful. And I think it's a really great thing too. I mean, that would be part of our pride, is to have things that are going overseas that, you know, have that stamp that are made in America, that,
Yes.
you know, that pride. And that's part of what I'd love to do, to, you know, aspire to. People say, whoa, this is made in America. And then it's a great product.
Yeah, and like yours, you could also say on there, handmade,
Mm-hmm.
because you do put it all together.
Right. Yep. It's true.
Now, were you ever, how'd you learn to be a seamstress? Just work at home?
Yeah, you know what? I grew up when schools had home ec, and
Yeah, those days are gone,
I
aren't they?
know it's too bad.
Yeah, really, I'm with you. I think that we have to bring that back.
I honestly, just common things, how to sew how to hem your pants, how to
Yeah.
sew on a button, and simple things like
How to
that.
iron a piece of clothing.
Exactly, they're kind of lost skills. So, and no one's always there to teach.
But you have tell about your ancestry that.
I do. I have. So that's where I first started sewing, was there. Though I do have a family that, that has a history of working in textiles, and so my mom and dad were born and raised in Wales, and I have a grandmother who.
In Wales in Great Britain?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, we have a Wales, Mass.
Yes. Oh, right. Yeah. No, not here.
I want to clarify
No,
that.
Wales,
Yeah,
England, yeah.
Wales in Great Britain.
So you're Welsh?
So I'm Welsh.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I was the first in our family to be born in the United States, and I was born on the 4th
Oh,
of
so they
July.
immigrated here?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that
Yep.
something?
They, they settled in upstate New York, around Syracuse area. And my dad was a builder, and he was a boat maker when he was in Wales. And
Oh, okay. So
but-
on the coast?
in North Wales. Yep.
Yeah. You know who's a famous person from Wales?
Tom Jones.
You know, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
my maiden name. I'm a Jones.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins too. I think he's from Wales.
Who?
Anthony
Anthony
Hopkins.
Yes,
Welsh.
yes, he is.
Yep.
But Tom Jones comes to mind right away. He's a
Tom
great
Jones.
singer.
My mother loved Tom Jones.
So tell them about the family member that was a seamstress.
Well, my aunts, and they were knitters, and like won contests in Wales for their knitting. But my grandmother on my mom's side was, my mom and dad were young and grew up during the war. So if you had a jacket and it was worn out, my grandmother was able to. She would take that apart. The inside lining would become a shirt, and a wool skirt, and
Yeah.
so she just did amazing work. And so we have done our lineage in Wales, and it was very sweet to see that our whole lineage is filled with weavers. Of course, they're sheep, that's what's over there.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see that that is in our family, is working with the hands and working with textiles. And so I even thought it was a little interesting that we should end up in a town that was known for textiles, and here we are,
Yeah. Really, it is.
kind of reimagining it a little bit.
And there's a relationship back to Great Britain, because Samuel Slater, who's the one who brought the textile industry here, he worked in Great Britain in textile. And back then, the English government made sure that their ways of manufacturing textile, because they had the automatic looms that ran by the water wheels, and they didn't want that getting out because they ran it for the world. They were the only ones being able to mass produce textiles. So they wanted to keep that because it was a great trade for them. Well, they would make sure that no one would take any plans out. What he was able to do, he took it out in his head.
There you go.
See? And he came here, ended up in Pawtucket, on the Blackstone River in Pawtucket, and saw that it's a great place for water power. Of course, the Blackstone River is one of the fastest falling rivers in the United States. You go from where you are in Worcester, which is, I forget how far above sea level, down to Providence, and it drops in that 25 miles at a very rapid rate, and faster than the Colorado River. So, in fact, I was with doing a tour of Rockdale with some people who are doing a survey on Rockdale from the Boston area, and they said, "Wow, that river flows fast." I said, "Oh yeah, it's a fast." That's why it became such an important river, because the power was there to turn those wheels.
Hmm.
And yeah, he came here. And, he might have been. I don't know if he was Welsh. He might have been, because it first started out with the woolen,
Yeah.
and then cotton became popular as well. And of course, they started shipping it up from the south. But it started with the woolen.
So I do a show every year in the Hope Artiste Village, and it's an old mill in Pawtucket, and
Yes.
it's that was part of the. I never
Was
knew
it
the
the
history.
the Slater Mill?
No, it's not Slater Mill.
Okay, the Slater Mill is still it's a museum now.
Yeah, I haven't been there.
There is a mill nearby. It wasn't the Slater Mill, but when they do shows, because I used to sell rubbish carts, and I did a show down there. I can't think of it, but it was in Pawtucket and was near the Slater. The Slater Mill is actually a museum now. You can actually go in there and see what it originally looked like.
Hmm.
So, I mean, of course, we're a National Historic Park,
Right.
because this was the birthplace of the industrial. America was a agricultural country. There's very little manufacturing. Any manufacturing was done to support the agriculture. You had iron shops and iron mills, but they made plows, they made blades, they made things for the farmers. It all changed when Samuel Slater came, and Paul Whiten, John Whiten, his son, came up with a better textile machinery for picking the cotton picker. And that's how it started with the White Machine Works, manufacturing the textile machinery. And of course, he sold it up and down. I mean, you drive along through the Blackstone Valley, you see mills everywhere, the former mills. And that's how they all got started, was in manufacturing textile.
And duplexes. We didn't, before moving out here, we've never seen whole towns of duplexes.
Those are the mill houses.
I know.
And the duplexes were the higher echelon employees.
Yeah.
The multifamily were the lower echelon employees.
1890, the house that we first moved in was built in 1890.
Oh,
Yeah, when we
okay.
first moved here,
A
we
duplex
lived
in
in one of
Forest
those homes,
Street.
the supervisor
Oh,
homes, right?
well, yeah, Forest Street was the street created by the White Machine Works
Yeah.
as part of the mill housing. Oh, yeah. And
amazing.
we're trying to preserve some of that so we can we're working on a historic district for that. And see, we're bringing more tourists into the area. You don't notice it as much. The national parks actually does a walking tour of the village of Whitensville. And we're going to go further with that. We're working on that now with the National Park Service. And we're developing a historic district. But anyway, that'd be adding to your business, because people come in. They're a great asset to people like yourself, is to sell to tourists. Get that word out there. That's an important factor. I want to get in with Miguel a little bit. You tell me that you're a big fan of the American Thinker. I went to do you do the cartoon?
I've done some cartoons for them, yeah.
Yeah, I went right to the site. I noticed a
did?
cartoon right on there.
Oh, you did?
Is that wasn't yours?
No, if it has my name on it, they have a cartoon on every day in there. So,
Yeah.
but if you saw a cartoon there, if it was for that day, it probably wasn't mine. I haven't done one. I did one maybe a month ago or so. Once in a while, I send
Do you
them a
contribute
cartoon.
any writing, reporting in it?
I used to write for them back.
Very interesting. I enjoyed that site. I found it quite interesting.
Yeah, there's some good writers in there.
Now-
Thought-provoking articles.
Yeah. We know how Christine ended up here.
Yeah.
And you might say, well, you were born when your parents reached the shore here. But now, where are you from originally, Miguel?
I'm from Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how did you end up? Did you end up here because you went to school, or?
No, my parents back in 1978 they, it actually started, they knew a friend from Alaska. Again,
Oh,
Alaska,
my,
Alaska comes up
quite a
again.
separation
Yeah,
there.
there was a Venezuelan woman that was a friend of my mother's who lived in Alaska, and she would come to Venezuela and visit my mother, and so I think that sparked something in my parents that maybe they wanted to go to the United States out of the blue.
Yep.
And so they started saving some money, and one day, actually, there was one day when I was 14 years old, and it happened like in a week from the day that I was told, so I didn't even have time to say goodbye to my friends. I used to tell my friends, I think we're going to go to the United States, and they would sort of laugh a little bit, like, oh, really? And then a week,
Didn't believe you, right?
yeah, because it's like,
How many people do that?
that's what my parents are doing, so.
Mhm.
And so we came with my mother in 1978. My mother and my older brother and my older sister and my younger brother. And with my mother, and my father stayed in Venezuela to continue to raise some funds. And so my mother came here first, actually, on
Yeah.
her own. And she got an apartment so that we could come. And so we came about a few weeks later, and then my father came. And so we came right to Boston. Actually, funny enough, the first building that we lived in is a building that's right across from Mass College of Art, which is where I met her.
Oh. Did you go to Mass College?
Yeah, that's where I met her.
Oh, but so you're right across from it, so you decided to go there?
No,
you had-
no, I had no plans. That was, I was 14 years old.
Yeah,
So when we came, so
but you found you enjoyed drawing.
I just realized, I realized later on, says, wow, I used to live up in that building.
Oh.
And it's right across from Mass College of
Oh,
Art.
so you moved before you started going?
Yeah, we moved, well, I was 14, and then, I went to high school, and
In Boston?
right in Huntington Avenue, right in that area,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And it's an interesting, little bit of an interesting story here. When I first went to high school in Boston, they put me in a regular high school that was up in that area in Huntington Avenue, and I didn't know English really, didn't know a lot of English.
No, it's very tough. I
But,
mean, yeah.
yeah. So I was there for maybe a couple of weeks, and people were very helpful in trying to help me, and I was picking it up a little bit.
Yep.
And so then, after a couple of weeks of being there and starting to learn it, actually, because I was almost like a force to learn it, I began, my mother put me on Brighton High School,
Oh, okay.
which is a bilingual school.
Yes.
And so I was there. That's where I started high school after that. But it was years later I started to realize, wow, I was in a school where I only had to speak English, and I was learning it.
Yes. Because you
And
had
then
to.
I had to. But then when I was moved to the bilingual school, it took me longer to learn the language.
You know, you hit on a good point. We
Yeah.
taught here in Northbridge. I think there's like 32 different languages they deal with.
Mm.
Because now all schools have to handle bilingual education
Oh,
throughout Massachusetts.
hmm.
But you make a good point. You would pick it up because you had no alternative.
I remember that. I remember it. And I was amazed. I thought to myself, that's really funny. If I stayed there another couple of months, I would have picked it up.
Yes.
But I realized later on it's because I wasn't really challenged to learn it in the bilingual school. So I learned it eventually, but it took me a while longer.
Another thing that a lot of immigrants have a problem with, they come here, and now because of satellite TV, and even cable offers TV from their original country, when you came here before that, and you watched TV, you had to watch it in English,
Yeah.
so eventually you would learn it. Now they just watch it in their native language, and they don't learn it. And let's face it, if you want to succeed, you want to go somewhere, you're going to be able to speak the common language.
Yeah. I'll tell you a true story, and then we go back to the reason why we're here. But the first,
Well, I'm here to hear, I want the town to get to know you.
I wanted to tell you a little story, Don, about that. I always tell people the first phrase that I learned, because I also was watching a lot of TV.
Yes.
And there's a show that I watched called WKRP in Cincinnati back in.
Oh, yeah, that's back on the air now.
Yeah. So the first phrase, full phrase that I learned was, I picked it up from that show in English. And it was the phrase, "Get out of here." Because there was a guy that was one of the guys in the show, like this
Yeah.
other stuff. He was talking to this other guy, and so the other guy said something that he didn't agree with. So he said, "Get out of here." And so he started leaving, and he says, "No, come and tell me again." He says, "Get out of here." And he said it about 4 times. And I always tell people that's the first full phrase I learned, and I wonder, how did you learn that? Get out of here. So it was from that show that I learned that. Anyway.
English is difficult for someone who speaks Spanish because it's just like any Romance language.
Yeah.
It's reversed.
Yeah, it's
In the sentence structure, English is reversed to it.
yeah. So I have a debate with people sometimes about that, which one's harder, and I don't really know. I know English is a hard language, but Spanish is
Yeah.
also hard in the sense that sometimes in English we can take one word, one verb, and use it for 4 or 5 different nouns, and it
Yes.
remains the same.
Yes.
But in Spanish, there are many words that every time you change the noun, the word changes. So, I always discuss that with people when we're talking about languages. Well, I think Spanish is a little bit harder because but English has its own difficulties too. But anyway.
But now, you're like Christina, you come from a country, people don't realize, but Welsh is a language.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the British had taken over the whole isle,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Ireland, which has its own language of Gaelic. The Scots had their own language,
Mm-hmm.
but they made everyone learn the King's language.
Mm.
But you still got people in Wales that speak Welsh.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
parents spoke Welsh.
Yeah.
Yep, and we didn't learn much, but there's just some phrases, kaidrus, which is to close the door, and kaidigig, which is to be quiet.
You learn.
So those, but yeah, my parents spoke it, and I remember we went there as a family with my mom and dad, which was very sweet. We could take our girls there and show them, where they grew up, and it was kind of like going back in time a little bit, like 20 years, and but it was so quaint. It was really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
And but the towns are in Welsh, and the street signs and so forth, they have English and Welsh, and they're trying to, they're reintroducing that in the schools. I know that, and
Well, that's
but-
good because it could
yeah.
be lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the further in you go into Wales, it was great because there's a lot of people that just spoke Welsh. And it was, as a tourist, so to speak, it was just wonderful to hear it.
And the castles, there's beautiful castles over there too.
It's
Yes.
just a
In Wales.
beautiful land. It's
It is.
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And people think of it as part of England because it's been under English control for so many years, over 1,000 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is a country of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And the people are their own, with their own customs and their own beliefs,
Mm.
and it just never broke away, which now it'd be almost impossible. You see when Scotland wanted to leave, they ended up, you're so connected now, I don't think it could be it could happen. But, now, are your parents still around, Miguel?
My parents, well, I have my mother and my stepfather.
Oh, your dad died.
And my dad, he passed. I don't really know when, actually, because my stepfather stepped into the picture when I was maybe 4 years old. Or so.
Oh, okay.
So, but they're still around.
Yep. Do you ever get a chance to go back to Venezuela at all?
No, since 1978, when I came here, I haven't gone back there,
No?
And right now, it's not very good over there to go back, from what I hear.
No, well,
Yeah.
and there again, that's a government problem.
Yeah.
You're pretty conservative, so I'm pretty sure you're a good capitalist, right? Yeah.
Capitalist. Like, I don't know how good I am at being a capitalist.
Well, you believe in that system. I think it
Well,
works a
yeah.
little better than,
Well,
they tried to switch over to a socialist communist system.
yeah,
It hasn't worked out too well.
yeah. It's not a perfect system, either one of them, but capitalism is the better one.
Right, well, I think Winston Churchill said there's no good system of government, but out of them all, capitalism works the best.
Yeah, that's why we're making banks. So
Yeah, right, right. It gives you, but people you can achieve on your own.
yep, yep.
But you're a great example of we are a country of immigrants. But what immigrants have to do is melt into it, go into the melting pot, assimilate into what this country is, because we have our own cultures, and you
Integrate. Yeah, there's,
integrate
there's
into
that's an interesting subject. I think there's a way, and again, we could talk about this a lot. I'd love to talk about a lot of these things another time, but
Yep.
on that subject, you don't have to, you can retain your culture, but
Right.
also respect the culture that you're in, and
Yes.
try to integrate so that you can work to enrich
Well,
that
you can
culture.
do both.
Yes,
It's like
you
being
know.
bilingual.
Yeah. So,
You can do both. There's no reason why you can't.
yeah, yeah.
I'm well, here now, you're the product of you might say mixed marriage, marriages of two different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and father were that. My father was Polish. His parents were both from Poland. My mother, French Canadian. Both her parents were from Canada. And this is back in the 1930s. You didn't mix the cultures. So they kind of broke the ice on that.
Mm-hmm.
And
But you wouldn't leave me alone, that's why.
But I mean, I grew up in that type of atmosphere, and I had a Polish grandmother and a French Canadian grandparents. My grandfather had passed away when my father was 16, so I never knew him. But it works fine. And now I still have cousins in Poland. The internet's phenomenal. I contacted them by mail, an address I found in my aunt's possessions after she passed away. And I wrote to them. I wrote in English because I couldn't write in Polish. But I was able to write it to them, and I got a response, and then we started talking. First, they're on Facebook, and I am. So when I would communicate on Facebook, now they even watch my show because it's on the internet. So, I mean, the world has become smaller over, due to things like the internet. I mean, when I went to Europe 50 years ago today, I left for Europe with the military to Germany. I didn't talk to anyone at home for almost 2 years because you couldn't get an overseas line. You'd have to wait. You'd have to go down, make an appointment, and wait and see when the line would be open because there was only one line that, a transcontinental line that went under the ocean. You didn't have satellite communication 50 years ago like you do today. Now, I can pick up my cell phone, I can pick up this phone, I can call Germany. I mean, it's amazing how the world has changed and how small it's gotten, really, and how we have to intermingle. We really got to learn to get along because we're now so close together now.
Well, thank you for your service. That's a neat
Oh,
one to say that. So,
I like to tell everybody, they took me kicking.
yeah. Thank you anyway.
I got drafted. That's when they had a draft.
Yeah.
But after I got there, I said, hey, this ain't a bad deal. Then I ended up, when I got out of the regular army, I went in the National Guard. 'Cause I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay home, and I was married, and I didn't want to have to travel without my wife, so a better life, but I still had the military on a part-time basis that I enjoyed. So it was a great thing, and it helped to straighten me out. I was a little wild, rambunctious guy, and when I came back, I settled down. Put me on. It helped me to set. They trained me to set my own objectives and to work toward them. So it's a good experience. Anybody goes in, they're making a good decision. It's a good experience. But, you know, we don't have a draft anymore, so you don't have to.
Mm.
But we only got a couple of minutes left. Well, we got about 9 minutes left here. So, have you've been happy with where you're located there and everything's working? Businesses, because what the thing with business is you want it to constantly grow. You can't have that gross sales go down because then your business is not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
You always have to be adding customers on. Is the internet picking up more and more?
It is actually. It is, yeah.
Individual sales, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Retail.
It's amazing how many people are, you know, if you would have told me this 10 years ago that people would go online and buy stuff, I wouldn't believe it because I'm always the kind of guy, I like to go in a store and look at it and feel and touch it. But people now, I don't care.
Yeah,
I saw myself doing that too.
yeah.
Now, do you sell on Amazon at all?
Actually, we do now. Well, we're doing kind of a pilot program. We were asked by the American Craft Council, which is a national program for artists, to, well, the American Craft Council did like a collaborative pop-up program with the Amazon Handmade Marketplace. And so Little Man, we were one of 100 artists to be in this like pop-up program.
Oh.
So from October to December 31st, you can find Little Man on Amazon through a pop-up through the American Craft Council.
Oh,
So
because,
it's brand new.
Handmade.
And, yeah, it's in handmade,
Amazon
Amazon
handmade,
handmade.
yeah, because, you know, Amazon Marketplace is huge now. I like what amazes me is that you can find anything there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you touched on something that brick and mortars will never, or I hope will never, go out of business because we love to touch things.
Yes.
We love the interaction with people. We love to see the person behind that's either curating a really beautiful store or making the products. And there's that personal connection that you don't have through a computer.
Right.
It's different. I mean, you can still have a connection through the internet, but it's different. And I think we all value that kind of ability to look and to shop, and it's
Well, you know, I'm not a shopper. What I want, I go in and I buy it and I leave. But, you know, you might be a shopper. And shoppers like to go in and look at things. And, well, I'll go to another store and go in, and you like to look around. And you can't do that on that. You can look around on that, but it's not the same.
Not the same,
Yeah.
Well, there's a thing about one thing that I wanted to say about her shop is that she works really hard.
Oh, I know.
And what I wanted to say, I was thinking about it on the way here and thinking, she has to do everything that has to do with running a shop and running a business.
Running a
and
business, plus do all the manufacturing.
do the manufacturing, she does the bookkeeping, she does the contact, she does the buying, all those things. I try to help her a little bit where I can, but she's pretty amazing what she does.
And also be a homemaker.
And the homemaker, yeah, she's got to put up with me. But here's a really interesting thing about the shop too, that we found out because one of the things that we done with Little Man is that we basically we said that if this is going to succeed, it will be primarily because of God, not because of anything that we do. And she has the gift that God has given her, and she works very hard. But we're always committed to God. And the interesting thing I find about Little Man is the people, when they go in there, they don't always just go in there to shop. They go in there and they spend time with her and they talk to her. And there's people that come sometimes with things that they want to talk about, and they want to be listened to, somebody to listen. And she's a great listener too. She does that too great. So it's a wonderful place, and it's not just like a place. She has a lot of friends in town that come over and talk with her and enjoy being there. The buying part is good too. There's not a problem with that. But it's more than that, and I really wanted to point that out because we were just talking about what it entails.
I've been in sales all my life. The best salesperson is a listener.
Well, there you go.
Really. You have to know what the person really wants. And you can't get that unless you listen. But no, you're right. I like to feel that God has helped guide me along too. That sometimes you feel that, how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, and maybe there was some divine intervention here or there.
Yeah. And we made plans, and she's made plans, and sometimes other things have happened. That's another path that she's found, okay, this is the way that we want to go with the business, despite what she's planned over here. And sometimes she's planned some things, and God has blessed that effort too. And so, but that's basically what we try to do is, because a lot of this success, when it happens, we have no idea this is how this, and we have no idea what's in the future for it. So we
Right.
kind
But
of,
how many years now?
Well, at least 12.
12. Well, if you've gone 12 years, I mean, you're pretty well on your road to being, you know, they say the first 2 years of a business are the worst. It's the first year especially, because you probably got bills to pay and you got loans to pay and things like that, because you have to have startup. And once you get past that, then you're pretty successful and it keeps going on.
they say something like that about marriage too. They say that the first 25 years are the hardest.
47 for me. Over 47 now.
We just
Laughing
had
at my
our
own joke.
32nd.
37, yeah. And you know what? When you look back, you say, where did it go? The girls are
Yeah.
all out of the house now, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
One's in college, so she's almost technically out,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
But the
Well,
other-
you only have
yeah.
part-time now.
part-time, yeah.
See? And believe me, it's strange at first, and you become an empty nester.
It's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, we're actually enjoying it.
Well, yeah,
We've
because
waited
you
a
don't.
long time for this. So 2 are married, the last one, and
Yeah.
Oh, we love
Kinda
them, we
having
love
fun,
them.
but
We love them.
they come back. That's the thing. They
Oh,
all
yeah.
come
Come
back,
back, yeah.
Yeah.
which we
But-
couldn't be happier.
But eventually they're gonna make it on their own, and they'll be by themselves, and they'll once in a while visit, and
Maybe they'll start taking care of me then, so.
Hopefully,
that's the
yeah.
hope.
well, see, I got my younger son lives across the street from us.
Oh, that's nice.
We inherited the farm that my grandparents bought when they came here from Poland. So I stayed in the family. It's been in the family over 100 years now.
Are you on Fowler? Is that
No, Benson
Benson.
Benson.
connects between Providence Road and Hill Street.
It's not are you by, not by that house that was kind of burned, the big house that right
That
next to it,
burned
something
down,
burned
an
down.
old farm that
Oh, the
burned?
barn that burnt.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Is that
we're further down from there.
Oh, yeah, I
so
seen
we
your
did
sign.
pass
It's
your
a
house.
Berkowitz.
Do
I
you
seen
have
your
Yeah,
a cross on your
I see it every day.
lights?
yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did
Yeah, I
pass
see it
that.
every day. I see the sign every day.
My wife, that's her thing. She wants that cross up for Christmas.
I didn't know whether it was you or your brother, the Berkowitz house, who lived.
They
in
all
this.
are. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
and across the street.
oh that's good.
That's very
We
sweet.
gotta go.
That's
The
it.
hour is
that.
up.
That's
Well,
it.
thank you for coming
Yeah,
in,
Thank
thanks
you.
for having us.
and I wish you the merriest of Christmases.
Thank you,
coming up.
Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
And we will see you next Wednesday on Town Talk. Gotta think of all these shows I do. And listen in Sunday at 3:30 to About the Valley on WCRN 830 Radio. See you later.